Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz test postmortem, a postmortem of my Blitz game number 452. Before I get into the video, I wanted to mention that I'm going to be playing in a chess tournament this Memorial weekend, a 3-day tournament. So I'll be away from my desk here for a few days, and I'll be uploading new videos. Won't be uploading videos in that time, but I'll be back next week and uploading videos then. So, well, let's get to the game. I started this game with e4. My opponent played c5. I got this backwards. My opponent started the game with e4 and I played c5. Playing the Sicilian. I was thinking of playing the con Sicilian, but my opponent played the very rare move c4. You see, if we look at this, top moves are the two knight moves, or the move c3 preparing d4. Very, very logical moves. Also knight e2. Actually, Capablanca used to play that way, knight e2, just preparing d4. After the exchange, it's pretty much the same as knight f3. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to figure out how many moves down it is on the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D3 is 6. D4 is at 7, 8. B3 is 8. 9, 10, 11. So it's the 11th move on the list. He played c4. So just because it's a rare move doesn't mean it's a bad move. I mean, it's not great, but it still leaves an even position. So it's not like you can refute a move like this. You just have to look at the pluses and minuses and try and make your plans accordingly. He's clamped down on this d5 square. I have to worry about him sticking a piece there. So one idea is to play the move e6 to counteract that. And he's created a weakness on d4 for me. So maybe one idea is also to stick a piece on d4. So those are a couple of thoughts that should come to mind immediately. It looks like e6 is actually a top choice here. I'm always a little bit worried about this move e5, but it turns out, if we take a look at this e6, new variation, e5, you can undermine with d6, and it's not so great for black. He takes e5, pawn takes, oh, queen h4 check. Okay. So it's a little too early to be playing something aggressive like f5 here. His king is a little too open. So anyway, the point is I don't have to worry about this e5 move, and I could just have played d6 immediately. Anyway, I played knight c6. It's a dual-purpose move. It's eyeing this d4 square, keeping the pawn from coming there, maybe thinking putting the knight there, and also stops this e-pawn from coming forward. He played knight f3. And now I played d6, which it's a typical Sicilian idea, control of the dark squares here, but maybe not the most accurate. Once again, e6 looks like a good plan in this case. But well, let's get to the game. d6, d3, and we're just out of the opening book. So we're both on our own. I've been on my own for quite a while, and I assume my opponent is on his own too. I decided to develop my bishop outside the pawn chain so I can play e6 and not have to worry about locking this bishop in. It looks like we have a position which is still about even, and it'll stay that way for a while. Knight of 6, bishop e3, cancel that, bishop e3. I go e6, a3, I'm sorry, that's the other pawn, cancel that. a3 over here. Here's maybe my first mistake. I saw this move a3 and I thought, well, maybe he's going to push b4, b5 and harass this knight. I shouldn't worry about that too much. In the first place, the knight has a good square on d4 it can go to, and in the second place, it takes a lot of time for him to do this. So when I play this move a5, it actually creates some weaknesses on my camp, and if he can sink a knight on b5 and add more pressure against the d6 pawn, so this move a5 has got more negatives than positives, I guess is what I want to say. So the engine says I should ignore all this stuff on the queen side and just continue on with my development with bishop e7, knight d7. Knight d7 idea, well, we'll come to that again later. It's an interesting idea. Anyway, I play a5 to clamp down on b4. He goes knight c3. So this was kind of a wasted move. He's going to get his knight in here, and well, I did stop him from playing b4, but anyway, just wasn't the best move. I go bishop e7 now, and he's got some slight edge. So my inaccurate play has given him a little bit. He kicks my bishop, and I decide to trade. That trading is okay. Looks like either move is okay here. I thought maybe the bishop, if it retreats like this, it wouldn't have much prospects on that diagonal. So I went ahead and traded it off. And this is not bad. And then I bring my knight to e5. Maybe another slight mistake. I think the knight is better on d4. But let's talk about this other idea the chess engine has, this knight d7 idea. I didn't really appreciate it during the game, but the computer has in mind a reorganization of the pieces. The knight goes to d7, and then say play something like queen d2. Then I can put the bishop on f6, and I'm just kind of swapped those pieces, and I've got nice pressure on this dark squared diagonal. So interesting way to play, and it makes it easier for me to park knights on these squares. So anyway, I went knight to e5, not knight to d4, and not thinking of that rearranging scheme. He drops his bishop back, and now he can just kick the knight away at any time with f4. So I haven't really gained a whole lot by putting this knight on e5. It's not a permanent fixture of the position there. He goes queen. Oh, my turn. I go queen d7. He goes d4. He decides to open up the center, and it looks like this is good. He's got the bishop pair now that I've traded off the bishop on f6 for a knight. Traded off on f3 for the knight. And so opening it up helps his pieces out, so he plays that. And taking with the queen maybe is a little better than taking with the bishop, but this is all good for white. So white really has a pretty strong advantage here. Let's see, he goes bishop e3. Cancel that. Oh yeah, I'm kicking the bishop. He drops the bishop back to e3. I place my rook to c8, a natural square for it, and he goes f4. So he's got a lot of space, and he has the bishop pair, and I have this weakness, which he can take advantage of with the move knight b5, because also I played the move a5. So a couple things I've done wrong here, and now it's white really has the pressure. But he doesn't follow up in the best way, so let's play on a few moves. It's not like it's game over. So I continue, rook f d8. He goes queen to c2. And I go e5, trying to break up this, he's got more space in the center. I want to grab some space and try and bust up this strong pawn formation. And he pushes on with f5, which is not the best move. I think knight to d5 is probably the way to play this. Keep the tension here a little bit. It shouldn't be a problem for white to open up this file. It should actually be welcomed by white. So he shouldn't be afraid of me taking the pawn. And that looks like a good outpost for the knight. So that's the way to play it. Instead, he pushed on with f5, keeping it closed. But on the other hand, it does have some ideas of perhaps pawn storming my king. It does grab some space over here and makes my defense a bit awkward. But technically, it's just not the best move here, and I can equalize with knight to d5. Now I don't play knight to d4. Yeah, I play this move eventually, but I don't play it right away. So let's go on with the game a few moves. I played h6 to keep his bishop out of the square on g5. He goes knight d5, and I trade off the knight. And then I play knight d4. So I did eventually hit this idea of knight d4, and it's a pretty good move. It forces him to lose one of his bishops. And he has a choice of which one. He can either take the knight or move the queen somewhere. Although the move he played queen d2, and that's a mistake. So in the video I alluded to look for the tactic that I missed. So if you want to take a little quiz here, after queen d2, what is black's best move? Okay, yeah, pause the video to think about it. I'm going to give the answer away now. Well, first of all, I'll give away part of the answer. If you thought of the move knight to b3, forking the queen and the rook, that's not the best move. So that is an interesting move. It's one I should have thought of, but it's not quite the best move. So once again, imagine the move queen to d2, and see if you can imagine the best move for black. Okay, pause the video again if you want time to think about it. I'm going to give the answer away. He actually played queen d2. And now the winning move here is rook to c2. Just skewers the queen and the bishop, and the knight and the rook gang up on the bishop, and it can't be defended. The queen has to move, and I just win a whole piece. So I'm just winning the game here. Also, notice that knight to b3 is just not quite as good. is going to lose the exchange, but it's better to win a whole piece than the exchange. He still has the bishop pair here as some compensation for being down the exchange. Okay, but I didn't play either of those. I took the bishop, which leaves white slightly better still. So I didn't play that. I didn't take advantage of my opportunity. But well, I get some squares for my pieces. Let's go on a few moves. White keeps an advantage through this part of the game. Let's see. I missed a chance here. Well, the engine is saying here's an opportunity to play rook c2. I play that move later when it's not a good time. So I didn't play this part in the best fashion. And this rook c2 now is badly timed. His bishop is over here, and he spots right away that he can trap my rook. And there's no good way to save it. If we back up, that rook c2 was an unforced error. He's got an advantage here, but not necessarily a winning one. And let's see, maybe bring my queen out. Try and activate the queen a little bit. It looks like I was a little bit too concerned about activity over here on the king side. It looks like he doesn't immediately mate me over here, and I am free to try and get my queen active. Or bishop g5. I thought if I played bishop g5, he would just kick it, but maybe it's okay. Bishop from g5 can perhaps penetrate along this diagonal and do something interesting. Anyway, I played rook c2, and he played bishop c3 immediately, and now my rook is not coming home. All these squares are controlled by white's pieces, so the rook has no way out of the box, and he just has the leisure to bring his queen in. He can walk the queen over like this and win my rook, and I don't have time to organize a defense. Let's see, I played bishop to g5, trying to get the bishop out to help, which the engine approves of. I was wondering, now that I look at it, how about if I just play queen here? Oh, he comes in here with the queen, attacking my rook immediately. I was thinking queen here to defend it. Rook f2. Yeah, it's pinned. It's maybe I'm defending the rook, but the rook is pinned, so he can just attack it, and I can't take the rook. I lose my queen. So that defense didn't work. Anyway, bishop g5, I guess, is the best try. And then he should immediately attack my rook with queen d1. He didn't. He played a4 first. Maybe he hadn't really spotted the idea of trapping the trapping the rook just yet. So it gives me a little bit of hope here. Let's see, I could have tried bishop to e3, which this is a funny sequence the chess engine found. So bishop to e3, queen to f3, hitting the bishop, and then the bishop goes to. Oh, I thought it went to in the line I looked at before. It went to d4. It looks like a7 is even more interesting. Bishop to a7. Why is this so good? Queen to d3, hitting my rook. Rook to f2. That's what it is. Yeah, the bishop on this diagonal controls the f2 square. So that's the way to try and save things. Now he can just trade off the rook, and looks like this is still a good position for white. Yeah, white's a pawn up, and looks like he has more space. So pretty good position for white. He has a good bishop there. Anyway, that would have been my best try. I tried queen f6, and now he goes queen d1, and there's no way out. I sacked the rook for the bishop, but he never really lets me back into the game after this. It's just all over. So I'm going to kind of fast forward through the rest of the game. There's one or two interesting moments here where he could have mated me quicker. One way, the move a6 is a quicker way to break through right here, opening up the back rank. And he has this devastating check here, which forks my rook and king, so I can't really take the pawn. So a6 is a good move here. Okay. But in any case, he's still winning, even if he's not playing the most accurate moves. And he allows me to survive longer than perhaps I should have. But he never gave up the win. And right here, it's all suddenly gone to where he has a forced mate. And he plays this part pretty well. He misses one trick right here. Yeah, he retreated the queen at a time when he didn't have to. Right here, he could have brought the rook to the a-file, just threatening mate on a8. And that would be good enough to finish the game. He retreated to d5. but then he comes with this rook a1 idea anyway. And I tried to arrange my pieces to deliver some mating threats here, but it's too late. And now he's got the mate in hand. So pretty nicely played by white there. I made some mistakes, but he took advantage of them. And hope you guys enjoyed it. As I mentioned before, I will be away for a few days, but I will be back next week. See you then. Bye.